Today, we are gathered to celebrate the Senior Leader Course, Class 23-002. For the past 3 weeks, these NCOs have put into practice leadership skills such as counseling, mentoring, Army writing, critical thinking, along with problem solving, to give them the critical foundational education for effective leadership for an enlisted senior leader in the Army and in the National Guard Recruiting and Retention Force. The guest speaker for today's ceremony is Sergeant Major Matthew Lee McCain. Sergeant Major McCain was assigned as the Reserve Component Career Counselor of the 18th Airborne Corps, Fort Bragg, North Carolina, on 1 August 2022. He serves as the Senior Career Counselor and Subject Matter Expert, a Reserve Component Retention Operations, and responsible for the Reserve Component Retention and Transition Support of 4 infantry divisions and 8 separate brigade-sized commands, totaling over 92,000 soldiers, DA civilians, and contractors. Sergeant Major McCain is responsible for the health, welfare, mission accomplishment, and talent management of 55 career counselors assigned to the 18th Airborne Corps Area of Operation. Sergeant Major McCain joined the United States Army on 5 September 2001 and has served in the Army National Guard and the United States Army for more than 21 years. His prior assignments include Fire Team Leader, Bradley Commander, Recruiting Retention Team Leader, Recruiting Section Chief, TRADOC Liaison NCOIC, Senior Reserve Command Career Counselor, and Company First Sergeant. He was mobilized for Operation Noble Eagle in 2002 and deployed for Operation Iraqi Freedom in 2009. His military and civilian education include all levels of the non-commissioned officer education system, along with a Master's of Arts in Executive Leadership from Liberty University. Ladies and gentlemen, Sergeant Major McCain.
All right, well, good morning. First and foremost, I'd like to say thank you to First Sergeant Miller, Sergeant Mann, the entire SMTB staff for inviting me out here to be today's guest speaker. Next to the graduates of Class 23-002, congratulations. You've made it to the end of SLC, right? I'm sure everybody is excited to be ready to go home, right? I watched all the videos for the last couple classes, and every single speaker said, I'm sure the only thing that is standing between me and your way home is me, right? So I'll try to keep it brief, but I do want to impart a little bit of the wisdom and knowledge that I've accrued over the last 21 years of my career and 17 years of that being in recruiting and retention. So as you get ready to walk out these doors today, just remember that you are now the senior leader in your formation, all right? You are the ones that are going to hold that torch and carry it forward to all those soldiers that you're going to mold, mentor, and influence throughout the rest of your career. Okay, 17 years ago, in this very room, a little over 17 actually, I graduated from the basic recruiting course. Got my basic recruiting badge, was given my GSA, given my Mandex, for those of you who might remember that. Was told to go out there and make a mission, right? One of the guest speakers that was there that day told me and told our entire graduating class of, I think, almost 700, that really only 1 out of every 3 recruiters that starts this journey ever makes it, right? And I can attest to that because out of the 3 people that I came to the basic recruiting course with in 2005, I was the only one that made it past 24 months. So the fact that you've made it to this point speaks volumes of you as a soldier and as a recruiting and retention NCO. I see a lot of expert recruiting badges out there, so I know you've been successful so far. Fast forward several years, over 125 enlistments. I had the opportunity to lead a recruiting team for a little while. I got to work as a senior MEPS guidance counselor in Nashville, Tennessee. I decided that I need to make a leap of faith. I decided that I wanted to make a bigger impact on the recruiting and retention force than what I could make there in Nashville, Tennessee. So I took the opportunity to switch over to Title 10, and I started up, or was one of the founding members of a branch that you guys probably all love to hate. That's the recruiting standards branch, in case anybody's tracking. I see a lot of people shaking their heads and saying, oh, that guy. Yeah, that was me. I'm sorry. It is what it is. But that impact kind of took hold, right? So the desire to make an impact for me really stood out because what it kind of transitioned to me was a creed that I wanted to live by. And I relate that impact that you can make on the world and on the soldiers that you serve with, kind of like a ripple in the water. Okay, so if you think about an object as it falls into the water, that's you, all right? The splash and then the waves that follow after it, right? That's the legacy that you leave behind with all the mentorship and influence that you have, all right? So I created an acronym, right, like most sergeants major probably do, right? It's because, we have to think simple minds, right? So I created an acronym to help define that. And this is kind of how I've guided my career over the last probably 10 to 15 years, and it's something that you guys should be able to use going forward. The R, it stands for resiliency, right? That's something that we have to be every single day. Everybody in this room knows that you're going to hear a lot more no's than you do yeses, right? Every single person in here has probably not gotten every single enlistment that they've taken to MEPS, okay? But I'll tell you that bouncing back and being able to recover from those failures is what really makes you truly great, okay? I would encourage each and every one in this room to take your tough times, because we all know that you're going to experience those tough times, right? Use them for fuel. Use them for the wind beneath your sails, if you must, to push you throughout every single day as you continue to go forward. I was reading a book, or I guess I should say I was listening to a book recently that the author said that every single failure that you experience in your life will plant the seeds for all of your future successes. Okay, so just remember that as you move forward throughout your career. All right, the I. The I is internal motivation, okay? Questioning our decisions is normal, right? So I think every single person in this room has at one point or another said, why am I here? Why am I doing this, right? So what I would ask each and every one of you to do is codify your internal motivations to do your job, okay? Codify that and make sure that you really know why you're here, all right? Focusing on external motivators may work temporarily, but really at the end of the day is reaching down inside and finding those your internal motivation is what's going to push you further and farther than you ever thought you could, right? You will literally be able to push your body much further than you ever imagined when your mind believes you can do it. And anybody that's been through air assault, airborne, any of those, HUA schools out there can tell you that is truly the case. If you believe it in your mind, your body will follow. The first P stands for push yourself and push others, okay? Not literally, okay? Don't go around pushing other people, but figuratively, yes. I ask each and every one of you to be the best versions of yourself every single day. That's what it takes to get out of bed and get out there and be able to get after your mission, get after your team's mission, because you guys are going to be transitioning into a leadership role if you're not already there, all right? Being that best version of yourself will help you not be afraid of failure, because if you're afraid of failure, you will shut down, okay? You will not take the chances that you need to take to be successful, all right? Develop yourself, all right? Don't ever turn down an opportunity that the Army gives you, all right, or any agency gives you. I used to always say that I didn't care what school the Army offered me, whether it was, a field sanitation course, right? I was going to take it, because that's what's really going to set you apart from your peers as you get a little bit older, as you grow in your career, and as you try to, advance, all right? And most importantly, make sure that you're passing that along to your soldiers. Not just the soldiers that you serve with on your recruiting teams, but the soldiers that you guys are enlisting into the Army National Guard, okay? The second P, and I'll self-disclose, this is probably the one that I struggle with the most, is practice patience, okay? Patience serves you well, right? So we've all been in the situation where we've been forced to have to make a decision, right? And we all want to make a snap decision a lot of times based off of our judgment. There's another author, I like to read books, that says there's two different systems of thinking, right? System 1 and System 2. I won't get into the author's name or the rest of his psychology, but the System 2 thinking is the one that you actually go in and you deliberately think through all your processes. And what patience allows you to do is when you're forced with making a decision is take that tactical pause to make sure that not only are you're seeking the counsel from your teammates, seeking the counsel from your leadership, even seeking the counsel from your subordinates at times, right? But it allows you to make those connections to ensure that you're mitigating all the consequences of your decision, right? Think through those second and third order effects. And sometimes taking that tactical pause and practicing a little patience will help. All right. It also allows you the time to make sure that you're making sure your values, right, those Army values that we all have, align with that decision. Don't ever compromise your integrity for a quick win. Okay. Trust me, it's not worth it. L, loyalty. All right. We have to be loyal to those with whom we serve, right? I think that's in our creed somewhere. Creating an environment of loyalty among your team, okay, is super important. But first and foremost, you have to be loyal to yourself. All right? Make sure you're taking care of yourself. Never compromise a promise to yourself. All right? Because once you do it the first time, it's that second, third, fourth, and so on and so forth compromise that just becomes easier and easier and easier. All right? Creating that sense of loyalty among each other, not only does it create a solid team, but expands your abilities. I used to use this as a math problem for other people that I've told this speech to, is we all have 100% of effort, right? We can't mathematically give more than 100%. I know we all say let's give 110, right? But mathematically 100%. Well, if two people add 100%, that's 200, right? You know, so on and so forth. We can all do that simple math. Now, I'm from Alabama, okay? But I like to think that teamwork is more multiplication than it is addition, okay? Because we're multiplying each other. Everybody has different strengths and weaknesses. So if you do the math on multiplication, right, 100% times 100, that's 10,000. Now do that over your entire recruiting team. You will be able to achieve extremely unthinkable things if you work together as a member of a team. All right, so don't ever compromise your trust and loyalty with those with whom you serve, because again, at the end of the day, it's not going to be worth it. All right, and then my favorite, and probably the one that I do the best, and sometimes this will get me in trouble, even as a sergeant major, okay, is E, exercise initiative. All right, each and every person in this room volunteered at one point or another and exercised initiative to be a recruiting retention NCO. Raise your hand if you were forced to do this job. Okay, exactly. What I would tell you is that you need to make sure that you chase that initiative every single day. Okay? Chase it every single day, and what I would tell you is that you need to seek out opportunities. Okay? Seek them out at times to get outside of your comfort zone. Okay? Being comfortable and being complacent is probably the enemy and the worst thing that you could ever do in your life. All right? I've been there. I suffered those consequences, and I was an E6 for probably 8 years. Okay? So just remember that. If you can get outside your comfort zone and you can learn how to develop that ability, I've heard it said 1,000 times, and you will again, being comfortable with being uncomfortable, right? You'll be a lot more successful. And that is exactly what it takes to be successful in the Army National Guard. Never accept less, okay, than the best. Give that to others. Initiative requires situational awareness. All right, so situational awareness is knowing what's going on around you, in front of you, and behind you, right? So just remember that as you're moving forward, always look ahead, okay, where you're going. Make a plan on how to get there, okay? No good plan survives first contact. I'm tracking. I got it, okay? But if you don't have a plan, you're not going to go anywhere, okay? Look to the sides, all right? So that's what's around you right now. Look to where you're at, where you are. Appreciate what you have, and figure out how to improve it. Always improve your fighting position, right? We've always heard that. But always try to figure out ways to innovate and create better processes, because that's what, at the end of the day, will make you better. And then look behind you. All right, look at where you came from. Never forget where you came from, and look what makes you who you are. All right, that is truly the key, in my opinion, to being successful. All right, so all of that creates that ripple, right? And as that ripple goes out there and you impact the water and you get to start influencing all those people, right? And hopefully everybody took notes. I didn't see anybody with paper. Just kidding. You can go watch it on the live stream later, I guess. You're going to grow and you're going to start to influence more people, all right? I can tell you this, 17 years ago, I never once thought in a million years I would be the Corps Reserve Component Command Career Counselor for the Army's Contingency Corps, okay? 92,000 soldiers in our Contingency Corps. And it just blows my mind sometimes, and I can't figure out how I did it, but I think it's by doing this stuff, living my ripple, working hard, and being present every single day. And I encourage each and every one of you to do that. So just remember, create a resilient lifestyle, find your internal motivation to succeed, use that motivation that you have to push yourself and others, practice a little patience along the way, be loyal to yourself and to your teammates, and don't ever be afraid to exercise your initiative. Sky Dragons, America's Guardians, people first, winning matters. Thank you guys. Have a great day.
Sergeant Major McCain, thank you for your wisdom.